Good morning to you.
Good morning, Elvis. How
You haven't got the flu, do you?
I certainly don't.
Tell us about the benefits of vaccinating against the flu.
Well, there are various strains of different strains of flu, and they come out in Europe, in the northern hemisphere, and they migrate during the early parts of the year before winter down to South Africa, and so to get vaccinated against flu prevents you from getting the flu strains that have been quite virulent in Europe in their winter.
Now, without being too technical, explain to us what is in a flu vaccine.
Okay. What they do is they put attenuated virus into the vaccine. So what they do is the virus is killed in various ways, and those dead viruses are put into the vaccine, and then they are injected into you or into the patient.
So it's a dead virus?
It's a dead virus that's in it. And what happens is the antibodies of your body then recognize that virus, and they develop antibodies against that particular strain of virus. So you can still get other forms of virus, but you won't get the forms of virus of the strains that you have been vaccinated against.
Now, there are some misconceptions. People believe that if you have a flu shot, you will get sick. How true is that?
Well, it's not true at all. Certainly, there are certain individuals that get very mild forms of flu for about 12 hours afterwards, so that's one of the side effects, but there are not many individuals that in fact get that side effect.
Now, which vulnerable groups in society needs to get a flu virus? Is it only older people?
No. I would advise everybody to have a flu vaccine.
Why?
Well, I think that if you can avoid getting flu, any of the strains of flu, I think it's important that you do so. For the same reason as we vaccinate against smallpox and measles and all those sorts of things, vaccines are the modern way of preventing people from getting sick. So I would advise everybody to do it, but certainly the compromised individuals must have it. And that we're talking about people that have low immune systems, people that have chest problems, and the elderly, because you mentioned in your intro that flu can cause death. Well, it very seldom causes death in healthy individuals that pick up flu. It's the compromised individuals, it's the elderly, and it's people that have chest problems and the like.
Now, medical aid schemes have not always been willing to pay for flu vaccines and flu shots. Why the sudden turnaround, do you think?
I'm not sure that it's a sudden turnaround. I think that there are preventative benefits, and the preventative benefits prevent all sorts of things, such as breast cancer, prostate cancer, and that sort of thing. And I think medical schemes would rather pay for the prevention of anybody getting ill rather than the big ticket item of actually treating them while they're ill.
Influenza and pneumonia are the second leading causes of natural death in South Africa. In my intro said that's startling figures. Now, how come a lot of people then think that flu is a seasonal, harmless illness, so to speak?
Well, as I said to you, if you're a healthy individual and you pick up a strain of flu, your body is able to cope with it. Your immune system's strong, your system's strong, and you're able to cope with it. As I said, it's those that are compromised that are unable to cope with it. And unfortunately, there are many compromised people that either don't have the resources or don't go to the hospitals to get the flu vaccine.
Are there a difference between seasonal flu and the H1N1 strain?
No, the H1N1 strain is just that's the avian flu.
Avian flu.
That's right. And so that's a particular virulent one that we've been talking about. But the strains that we're talking about in terms of the flu vaccines are a different strain.
Are there do's and don'ts that you have to do before taking a flu shot?
You should have your flu shot before the end of May. So they become available around about now in February, March, but there's no other do's and don'ts.
People that suffer from diabetes, asthma, that sort of thing, can they take a flu shot?
I think anybody yes, of course. In fact, they should, because they are compromised in many ways. If you have chronic diseases with comorbidities, you are compromised, so it's important that you protect yourself where you can.
So I would assume as Profmed that you also then provide your members with a flu shot, a free flu shot for that matter.
Indeed we do. It doesn't come out of the savings account or the day-to-day benefit, it comes out of the insured benefit to encourage people to have their flu vaccines.
That was Graham Anderson. Thank you so much for joining us here in studio.
It's a pleasure, Elvis.
Graham Anderson, he's the Principal Officer at Profmed.